Hey, what's happening, guys? This is Nagpal for iGyaan, and it's time. This is the box for the HTC One M9 with a lot of things going on here. The Mobile World Congress gets kicked off with the One M9, and this is the final product. We sort of have a pre-production unit over here, so not essentially the final product, but still going on with what usually comes in the traditional HTC pre-production packaging sort of things. So you do have new earphones is what they tell us. So an additional set of tips, small size and large size, and I'm guessing that the medium size tips are already on these headphones or earphones. So flat style cables, standard size and standard style earphones over here, but they do look and they feel slightly heavier than previous gen ones, so I'm guessing they are slightly better built. You do have a standard 3.5mm jack over here, so nothing great with that, and you do have an inline push button to send and end calls, as well as a microphone on this, which is fantastic. So I'm going to put these aside. And then we get a standard wall charger, a standard USB to micro USB cable, and a SIM removal tool, which is taped to the bottom of the box over there. So nothing great in terms of what we get, but hopefully the final product packaging is slightly better. So it's time to unveil what essentially is going to be the phone for HTC for 2015. This is it. This is the HTC One M9, and as you can see, they've taken a dual tone finish to this particular product. Gold finish on the right edge, as well as a steel finish on the back edge. Now it will be available in a bunch of colors, of all gold version, which will be available. Then you have the steel and gold finish, or steel on gold, or silver on gold is what they call it. And they also have the original black color from the previous generation one, which is actually lighter in this edition. So now the process is quite similar to previous generation HTC One devices. So you do have a unibody aluminum block over here, but you do have these jewel quality precision lines, hair lines, that are done on the device. Then it is basically what HTC has done is they've spent 300 minutes in building one block of the unit. So it's double dipped, double anodized, and double coated, and it also has a scratch resistance coating, which they say will sort of come into value after about 6 months of use, when you see that the device with a metal back has literally no scratches after using for 6 odd months. So that is where all the money lies. The front also is now a unibody shell, so you do have a single front panel, which is excellent. The dual tone finish has been inspired from luxury smartwatches, is what HTC claims. So looking at the colors, it totally reminds me of a Hublot watch. So they've not worked with any watchmakers, but they have inspiration from luxury high-end watches. So while the device boots up, let's do a quick over of the device itself. Okay, so over the top, like I said, we have the HTC Ultra Pixel camera that we saw in the previous generation of devices, along with a bunch of sensors and the earpiece, which is also one side of the boom sound speaker. Below that you have a 5-inch display. Now this is still a full HD display, and you don't have a quad HD going on, but the display is nice and bright, excellent, vivid, and partially visible outdoors as well. Not fully visible, but you have visibility outdoors, which is a good thing. On the bottom you have 3 capacitive buttons, which are on-screen buttons, and you have the HTC logo. Nothing on the left or right of that. You do have the second boom sound speaker as well as the microphone in this grill over here. On the bottom you have the micro USB charging port, along with the 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right side, a new style of grid. So you have the power button now on the right. You do have volume rockers, and the power button has a different texture on it, so that as to identify it as the power button and not mistake it for the volume rocker. Now on one side you have the SD card port, and on the top you have the infrared blaster along with antenna ports, so antenna holes or this plastic sheet that hides the antennas on the inside. On the left side is the SIM card slot, and over at the back is the new 20.2 megapixel camera, dual LED flash. You also have a noise cancellation microphone, which is a pinhole over here in the antenna band over there. You have the HTC logo. A really nice finish on this phone, feels really fantastic in the hand. The dual edge or this dual finish bezel looks fantastic, feels really premium, makes the device look really premium. And to begin with, feels like a really hefty and slightly heavy phone. It weighs in at 158 grams for this particular unit, which is fairly heavy if you compare it to other devices, but it feels really robust. It feels like it can take a bunch of drops, etc. So we won't get into that. Let's quickly talk about the specifications on the inside. So you are running the Qualcomm Snapdragon 810 64-bit chipset with 8 cores at 2 GHz. You also have the Adreno 430 GPU, which is fantastic. You get 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB of storage, and the device out of the box is running Android Lollipop 5.0.2 for this iteration, but later on may get updates. So this is what the basic UI looks like. It is running Sense 7. It's HTC's new upgraded UI designed specifically for Lollipop. Really fast, really responsive. You can also see the 64-bit in action, multitasking, etc. Really smooth, really easy to use, and overall UI is snappy and you will not feel any lag whatsoever. And considering the fact that this is a pre-production model, we are seeing some great results. While HTC simplified the UI quite a lot, and you'll see that over here, they do have this really cool new widget that automatically sort of personalizes apps according to your requirement and according to where you are. So there is a home mode where it'll pick out applications that you use at home the most, and then there is a work mode where it'll pick out applications that you probably use at work at the most. There's also an out mode that will also sort of pick out applications that you would use when you're out and about, including the car app. They've also removed the inbuilt HTC TV application with replaced it with the Peel Smart Remote. This was earlier a part of Samsung's portfolio, now comes pre-installed on HTC One M9. You also have a suggestions folder which will suggest you cool apps to download. Found this really cool, works really well. And then you have a downloads folder, so whatever you download will sort of bump into this and fall into this folder automatically, so that if you know that you have to look for something that you recently downloaded, it will show here at the top, so you don't have to look through your list of hundreds of apps that you might have in some time of using this product. You do get 100 GB of Google Drive space, which is fantastic. Using this phone for a couple of days, I found that the picture capability may not be that great, and that's also possibly because that this is not the final build and the camera is not yet fully ready. So they told us that when they let us play with this device quite a lot. But you see that the camera interface is really more simplified. You have a bunch of options here. You can go into full manual mode now, which is fantastic. Something that I really enjoy, and it helps you get great detail before you sort of pick your shots. You also have a portrait mode, landscape mode, text mode, a macro mode, and then you have HDR, which works really well. It took me a while to find these modes. So when I clicked initial set of pictures, they were without HDR and the sky was truly washed out. And then I found the HDR mode, and I found the pictures to be much more better in terms of gathering the contrast. So you also have slow motion video, and then you have normal video. You do shoot 4K on this device, which is excellent. You can jump into settings of the video and choose what resolution you would like to save your video at. So there's full HD, 4K, HD, QVGA, and MMS quality video. I don't know if people still use that. Again, ISO settings, auto white balance, and then your standard camera settings. Now what's really amazing within this is a bunch of cool filters or things that HTC has done within the UI. So if you have a bunch of nice pictures over here, so if I have this picture of me with an angry face. What you can do is you can directly from here jump into the editor, is what the new thing is. And with the editor you can add a bunch of effects onto this. So there is photo shapes, so I can just pick this and I can add some sort of photo shapes simply like that. What I can also do is when I'm editing this, I can, when I choose effects, and if I say photo shapes, I can pick a picture from a different side and then I can add those in here. So I can add a triangle or a prism. So those kind of things, I don't know if it makes sense, but if you have a funky image, so let's take a different image and not a mugshot of me. So if we take an image like this and you want to get some psychedelic filters going on in there, get the prismatic, and this sort of creates a kaleidoscope of sorts. So you have this really cool effect going on over here. It's a lot of fun to play with, but do we have real life uses of this? I don't know, but this is really cool filters and effects that you can add onto your sort of photographs that you take. If you find a really nice landscape photograph, as I have one here, it's not really a landscape, but this is the one with the HDR activated. You can see how well it captured the sky. If I go into the editor here, get the prismatic going on, over here is where you'll actually see the quality of these filters. Then you also have a bunch of other things like shapes. So you could basically add some shapes with some colors. So same thing without adding a bunch of other things. You can add another photo on there. You can do double exposure, so I can have this and I can add this element on it. And so I get this sort of effect. I can move it around. So that's a nice way to do it. You also can add elements like snow and sakura like we had last time. So we have hearts, we have fog, we also have dandelion, you have a maple leaf, and I can make a video of this and sort of send it to my friends. You also have bubbles, very realistic looking quality filters on here. Makes it look really, really lifelike. Really lifelike. So this is one of the best sort of quality features that I've seen in a very long time. Very long time. You can also increase the density or the speed. I mean, you can really customize this. So if I just do this, then it'll just appear there. So my elements will just appear there. So it allows you to sort of fill in areas where you want these effects to appear, and if I can do a slightly better job of it, and then I can click this, so then it'll only appear within the building and not on the sky. Alternatively, I could clean this up, and if I go into elements, and if I want sakura falling from the sky, I could then again draw an area where I want the sakura to fall, and it'll only fall in that area, which is cool, which sort of lets me customize the way this is going to work for me, which is great. Okay, so a bunch of photo filters, and then of course you do get come on, so you do get flare effects as well. So you can draw a flare if you want. You can customize it. I'm going to discard that one, and then I can also add frames, really fun frames over here that really look nice. So a bunch of cool things, and then you of course have your essentials. So you can remove red eye, and you can add some really fun filters now. You can also customize your filters. You can see how you want to sort of add that effect, but this is a really nice picture, gives you the exact kind of quality that you would expect from this. I can't zoom in until I apply the filters. Let's go ahead and do it, and it'll save it as a new picture. And once it's saved, you can see the kind of detail that we have being processed on this device. Really nice camera. I did find some pictures to be noisy, but again the software is still unfinished, so it's really difficult to tell whether it's the software. So these are the ones I took without HDR on, and then I found the HDR mode later on. Got some really nice ones with HDR on. So this is a panorama that I managed to click. So the camera is pretty decent. With the amount of time I was able to spend with it, it seems to be working really well. Now HTC has a lot going on this device. You don't have a lot in terms of gimmicks or anything that HTC is trying to sell with this, but what they do have are a really solid sort of hardware piece, and a really well built sort of hardware, and the software on it is really fast, snappy and responsive, so that'll sort of really make you feel good about owning this this device. Now you do have a 2800 milliamp hour battery on this, and the device does sort of feel warm around here. It goes up to 42-45 degrees, which seems to be pretty normal for a device in this value, but you do feel the heat coming onto your hand quite a lot. So there you go, guys. That was my quick impressions of the new HTC One M9. So if you have any questions or queries, do drop them in the comment section below. I will look at those for you. You can find a full detailed hands-on impression review along with really nice images and close-ups, comparison shots with the HTC One M8 and some of the other colors of this device on iGyaan.in. So do check that out. This has been Bharat Nagpal, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.